I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody.
How you guys doing today? How you doing today, baby? You feeling better? You've been sick for the past, seems like 2 weeks.
I know, it seemed like a long time.
Yeah. I'm glad you haven't given it to me yet, because
I'm trying to stay away from you.
I appreciate that.
I'm trying.
So you feeling better? Feeling okay today?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little better.
Okay, because you know we're going to talk about today.
Oh yeah, this is a hot one. This is a hot one. We should get some comments on this one. I keep wanting comments. I'm like, people comment.
I know. So what we're going to talk about today, y'all, is we are not those parents.
We are not those parents.
But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to introduce yourself?
We're going to introduce ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Let us introduce us's.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been married 27 years, together for over 30 years, and it's our goal to help Black couples love more, communicate more, and build healthy long-term marriages and relationships. So thank you guys for joining us, and let's get started on this topic.
Yes.
So, baby, how do we come up with this topic?
There was one of my sisters sent me a thing on Instagram where a lady was saying that, you know, if you my child, that, you know, no matter how old you are, basically, if you need a place to stay, you can come home and you can stay there. If you need my car is your car.
Until we can get yours fixed.
Yeah.
And I've seen this. Did
it even say that, until we get yours fixed? I don't even know if it said that.
Well, I don't remember the one you're talking about, but I've seen other ones.
Uh-huh.
Other than that one, kind of going along the same lines of, you know, basically as a parent of an adult child, because we're not talking about teenage kids. We're talking about adult children.
We talking grown-ass kids.
So before you know, we get into this discussion, we're talking about adult children.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the age also makes a difference. Now, if you're still 18 or 19, I can kind of understand as a parent saying certain things. Mm-hmm. But once you hit 25, 26, 27 and above, yeah, nah. But, so like I said, I've seen a couple of other social media posts about that same thing. But it's interesting, the posts that I've seen are only from women. I've seen men.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any men say this.
So
most men is like, no, get your ass out. Get your ass out and do something with yourself.
Do something. So that's why we call this episode, We Are Not Those Parents.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to start, because even from a mother's perspective, since we're saying that most of these posts that we've seen are women posting this, I'm going to say from a mother, 2 grown adult children, yes, our children have come home. I should say our son has come home, but with the expectation that you get yourself together and you move out. You're not living here indefinitely. And we charged him rent. It wasn't a lot of money because we were expecting him to move on, so we weren't trying to charge him a grip of money.
Yeah.
So, and I know other cultures, many other cultures will live, generational within a home. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem even if we had, even if we as parents said, okay, our children can live with us, but under the stipulations that these are the guidelines that we are trying to build, wealth by doing A, B, C, and D like other cultures do. But not just so you can sit here and pay the cheapest amount of rent and think you're going to be living here until you're 35 and 40. No. So that's the problems. One of the problems I was having when I was reading this stuff that these ladies were saying, and it's like, and I think another one was, you can borrow my car until we get yours fixed. And
that's what I'm saying. Did it say until we get it fixed?
Well, maybe not the one that you read, but the other ones that I've read. And my thing is, no, especially living in California, well, anywhere in the United States, not when there's Ubers available, not when there's other means of transportation.
The bus like we did?
Right, like we did as teenagers.
Get on the bus.
We got on the bus. We were on the bus at 12, 13, 14, 15, and I know some people then they'll say, well, it's so dangerous. Walking out the door is dangerous, but it comes back to not being an enabler to your children and say, hey, you got to get to work. Well, so do I. So you going to have to figure it out. Hey, I'll front you some Uber money. But again, it's not enabling your child to just think that they're going to be able to live off you or live very cheaply, because we got bills. As an adult, if you're living in this house, bills still got to get paid, so you've got to help on some level as an adult child. And
look, that child is in there eating food and using electricity, using water, using toilet paper,
all that,
using toothpaste. All that come with a cost.
With a cost. And again, we're talking about adult children. We're not talking about teenagers
and stuff like that.
And I'll even give you 18, 19, maybe up until age 20, I'll let you slide. But after that, it's like, we got to have some, if you're going to stay here, we're going to have to arrange there's going to be some other types of arrangements.
And at the same time, also, if you're going to be staying here, the biggest part really is you got to abide by my rules.
That.
You just ain't going to be living up in here and just parlaying and thinking you can do what you want to do up in here because you grown.
Oh, quote unquote grown, because being grown means you handling your responsibilities. If you want that title of being an adult and being grown, that comes with responsibilities.
Yeah.
So that's why we say we ain't them parents.
We ain't them parents. No.
Because you can't.
Because first of all, with the car thing, you're not using my car.
No. Remember the one man
gives a damn about that. You ain't using my car.
Remember the one time, Tyler, were we on vacation or something?
Yeah, and he snuck and
used my car.
Use your car. I thought I was gonna kill him.
Oh, and the only reason he got caught is because he left something in the back seat of my car. I really wouldn't have known because he parked it perfectly, but he left something in the back seat of the car. We came in and oh man, and my car was messed up. And my thing is, first of all, you should have asked. Maybe I would have said yes. Maybe, probably not. But you should have asked. And, I don't remember if Uber was around that time.
No, the bus was. The bus was there.
The bus is right down the street.
And he had a couple partners that had cars. They could, they could have came and picked him up.
Exactly. So but yeah. So as a man, babe, when you see this kind of shenanigans or on the internet.
Are you sure you want that answer from me?
I know I might be sticking my foot in my mouth, and I don't
pull the punches. Go ahead, finish your question.
Well, basically, as a father of two adult children, and of course you know how you were raised.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts? Excuse me. Only way you gonna be able to stay here for a little while is if you got a job Because there's a lot of them that's out there that's staying with their parents that don't have a job.
Right.
But they don't have a job, but they got that entitlement, you know, all running through their veins. Just that entitlement. And then they got the nerve to be mad. Mama, ain't nothing to eat up in here. Well, see, I almost said
Ninja.
Ninja, if you got you a job, you can bring some food up in here.
Right.
You know, but it's a lot of them that's you know, they have that entitlement about themselves. And to me, I look at it like this. Excuse me. I've raised you to 18, 19. Mm-hmm. I've taken my time. I've taken 18 years out of my life to raise you to be a man or a woman, young woman. I've done that already. Why should I keep doing it after, 20, when you grown, when you're basically an adult,
right?
Considered an adult at 18, 19. And like we said, we ain't,
because we know at 18, 19, especially boys, they no.
Nah,
girls, because Tia was out at 18. She did leave at 18. She moved in with her sister, but she was still out of the house.
Yeah.
And periodically she needed money, but she was still young. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, helping out. But my thing is, try. We had to do it. Yeah. And I know today's times is a little bit hard, as far as rent and all that stuff. Yeah, I understand that part of it. Yes. But at least try.
Right.
Ain't nowhere in the world your parents should continue to raise you. Right. In a house that the parent is paying for, and the parent has to have one or two jobs. Right. And I'm coming home and I see this grown ass ninja on my couch with chips and all this stuff, with his feet up on the couch, and I just got through busting my ass at work, and I come in and see this fool laid out on my couch.
But what if they are what if then they are working, and so they are working, they're doing their part by working. What about like paying rent? What is your I understand. Yeah. What is your take on that?
I think that's, if you're paying rent, and I'm saying, depending on how long you stand. Now, if the question is really, what is your plan? Right. That's the question. Right. What are you planning on doing? Right. Are you planning on getting your own place? Right. Because, you could stay here in the room for a little while, until you get yourself ready and stack up your cash. Right. But if I'm coming in and I'm seeing you and you got, you always buy food, you got some new Jordans, you got all the new video games, you got all these expensive clothes and all this stuff like this. Right. But we don't have no food in here. You ain't contributing to the food. You ain't contributing to the soap. Right. Toothpaste. To the laundry detergent. That. And, all of this stuff, all this shit. Right. All this shit is expensive. Yes. And then, you ain't taking out no garbages. Right. You ain't contribute, you ain't helping to do the yard or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You walking in, you see stuff that couldn't need to be swept up in front of the house or in the driveway or whatever, but you just walking right past it. Right. No. Yeah. If that's the case, if I got to do all that stuff and you still here, then you got to go. Right. Because you don't want to help out. Right. So that's what I'm saying. If you're going to be helping out and contributing to all of this stuff, then by all means, that's fine. If you got a job and you like, here, Mom, here's, $300-$400 to help out with the rent or to help out with the groceries, and even whatever. That's still cheap. But okay. At least you trying. Especially in California. Exactly, in California. But at least you're trying. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, what that does is that also helps helps that child to get themselves to understand on how to pay somebody rent. That gives them, that starts to teach them responsibility. And then you put a limit. You tell them, I need the rent by such and such time. Right. And if they can't do it, then the consequences is, I guess you're going to see what it's like to be living in your car. I mean, we did it with our son. Yeah.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't on.
No, he
lost his mind.
He was getting beside himself the way he was talking to me.
Yeah, he was getting beside himself, and then
we gave him plenty warnings.
But he thought he was bad enough and was like, "Fine, I'll go." He wanted the challenge, so we put him out. Like a week later, that fool was.
Change that attitude.
He thought he was cool. A week later, that fool. I get out to go to work at 3:00 in the morning, and I see his car in front of the house. I'm like, that look like Tyler's car. I'm like, what is he doing? He in there sleeping in the car, and like curled up in the fetal position because it was cold. I think it was winter, and we don't get real cold in California, but
it was cold enough.
It was cold enough. So. Yeah, it was like after a good week or two, he realized, and he came in with a new attitude. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah. That one was.
But yeah, that's my thing. To me, it's a respect thing, and I like I said, I don't feel that any parent should have to re-raise.
No.
A child.
And especially, and that was one of my things, one of the comments I put was, especially as we're getting older, especially as we're closer to retirement, I can't afford and don't want to afford to support you anymore.
Exactly.
And because I'm not going to be expecting you, God forbid, that you're going to have to support us. Mm-hmm. So I need you to get out there, do what you got to do to be a productive citizen. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, hopefully, as our kids won't have to, financially help us.
Yeah.
So I need you to go out there and do your thing because I want to be able to take care of myself with the finances that we've saved over the years so we can retire. Mm-hmm. But if we're sitting there constantly trying to support you because you either can't get it together or don't want to get it together, mm-hmm. then where does that leave us? That we're going to have to work longer? No. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. No parent should have to continue to raise a child after you done struggled 18 years already.
Right.
A lot
sometimes 20, 21 years.
Yeah, 21. After you done struggled, and it is a struggle. Raising a child, I don't care if you well off or not, or whatever, still, raising a child is still a struggle.
It is, yeah.
So, and raising 2 children is a struggle.
So what would you say to those parents? Because I'm sure you'll have some, well, they didn't ask to be brought into this world.
No, they didn't. But that still doesn't mean that you got to sit there. See, and that was a part of it that I was going to also bring up, but this is going to be real controversial. Right. So, but I don't give a damn. But I'm going to say it.
What?
And it goes mainly with women, but it's with men too. But a lot of times, especially when you have a single mother, it's a guilt thing that pops in. So, and they get to the whole thing of, his father ain't around. I feel I need to, take care of him and be there for him and all of this stuff.
Especially with their sons.
That's what I'm saying, basically, with the sons, daughters too, but it's more so with the moms, with the sons. Mm-hmm. His father wasn't around, and and I have to make sure that he's taken care of, and I just feel bad that his daddy wasn't around. It's like he's at this point when he's 20, 21 years old,
right? You're being an enabler, basically.
Yeah, you're an enabler. Now at this point, no, he's over the fact that his daddy ain't around because he grown by now.
Yeah.
And you've done the best that you can as a single mother.
Yeah.
You can't be using the guilt trip. You can't be guilting yourself into trying to be there all the time for him as an adult.
Right.
Because, a lot of times what kicks in on that part of it is on his end is it's that privilege type thing kicks in. Mm-hmm. He starts taking advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
It's the same thing with fathers, but you don't hear as much about it with fathers. Because I think a lot of time, young ladies, they I think a lot of time young ladies, they're like in Tia's case, you know.
Yeah.
Tia, 18, she was like, I'm gone. I'm going.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I'm gonna live over here with my sister, and I'm gonna do this, and
Right.
you know. So I think young ladies are a little bit more apt to step out
Right.
on their own and try out things, you know, try out life
Yeah.
more than boys are.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to a boy and his mother.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of them that I know that'll be trying to just milk that shit. It's like, nigga, get your grown ass. Who I said? Ninja. Like, get your grown ass out of here. Like, nigga, I don't care. I'm saying it, nigga. You can't. It'd be like, nigga, you can't even get up and fuck. Look, you can't see. You see, I get real.
I see. Real, I need you to take it down a notch,
I gotta bring it down. So, Molary cheese. Molary cheese.
They're not gonna know what that is.
Look, our generation to know what that is.
Well,
They'd be like, damn, they old, huh?
Right.
That's the Three Stooges. Oh. But no, my thing, I just be like, man, you can't get up and help your mom.
Right.
You can't stop it. You can't get a job.
Right.
No.
Like you said, I think that's you made a very good point about it's not just about the job. Yes, that's number one because bills got to get paid.
Yeah.
Even if you just taking care of your own needs, you know, as an adult, you know, taking care of your car insurance, taking care if you got a car, maintenance, gas, all those things. But you also made a very good point about helping out around the house.
Yeah.
Because that also is a sign of maturity and just being responsible. Because as we know, we train our children to take on those responsibilities. We give them chores when they're young. But then as an adult, if you're still living at home, you know, whether you're helping your mom out or not with the finances or your parents with the finances, there's still other things that go into being an adult.
Yeah.
You know, and that means taking care of the household things. You know, trash don't just empty itself.
No.
Dishes don't just wash themselves.
No.
You know, it's also those type of responsibilities on top of, and again, we're talking about adult children taking on being accountable financially and whatever needs to happen around the house to make the household work.
Exactly. I mean, there's nowhere in the world that mama should have to come home from work and walk in and the garbage is still there, the dishes is there.
Whether or not if you're going to work or not as that adult child, you still need to help out around the house.
Exactly.
If you're going to live there.
Yeah, mama come in and dishes all in the sink and all this stuff, but grown ass dude or young lady sitting in there just watching TV and playing TikTok videos or whatever, and she talking about, well, what's for dinner?
Right.
You know, ain't nothing else got done around there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No.
And that whole thing about, well, I pay rent, but that doesn't negate you from having to handle your responsibilities.
Exactly. Just because you paying rent does not mean you can't wash a dish.
Right. Especially if you're dirty in the dishes.
Yeah.
You know, put some toilet paper on the toilet paper roll. Don't just leave it empty.
Exactly.
You know, so and those are the things that, you know, even with our kids, we had to remind them, hey, you're dirty the dishes, wash them. You know, you see that, you know, the paper towel rack is empty, put another roll on there. Just those things, because these are the things you're going to have to do when you eventually move on to your own space.
And that's the point. That's the thing. The other part of it is like, wash your own damn clothes.
Oh, yeah. We started our kids on that
we
early.
Made them start washing their own clothes. I mean, probably when they was 16 or something, I guess.
No, Tia was a little older. Well, Tyler, because we would go to the wash house, so he didn't have to really get involved with that in the beginning. Yeah. But when we finally were able to move into a house, and have a washer and dryer. So Tyler started a little bit later than Tia. But, you know, Tia was, you know, also very mature for her, her young age. So, but yeah, we definitely started them on doing that and cooking for themselves.
Yeah.
And those things.
And our thing was, if they wouldn't like sometimes some of the stuff we make for dinner. Like, okay, well, I guess you either gonna eat this or you gonna make your own food.
Exactly.
So they start, if they didn't like whatever it was, they make their own meal.
Right.
We taught them how to cook. So
at a pretty early age. But going back to the adult side of it, it's just a matter of, as parents, when you what's the word I'm looking for? When you continuously give and give and give, and these are adults that we are talking about, then it doesn't give those adult children really any incentive to leave.
no.
Even if they left and then come back because of whatever circumstances, again, Tyler left and came back and then left again.
And love again.
And we didn't have a problem with that because we knew he had a plan.
Yeah.
So, but if your child leaves and then comes back and doesn't have a plan and thinks, shoot, I only have to pay $200 a month, and living here basically, that's really basically rent free.
Yeah.
Then what's the incentive of them trying to get out? So again, you don't want to charge them $800 for rent when they need to stack their money, but there needs to be a clear plan. Okay, how long are you going to need to be here? And if it goes beyond this time, then I'm gonna have to raise your rent because I'm trying to help you stack your money so you can move on. But if you feel that you're going to stay here indefinitely, then we need to talk about some other type of financial arrangements.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to, and I repeat, other cultures do have generations living within the home, but it's for a purpose of building wealth or being able to buy another piece of property or whatever. Maybe you're working in the family business. So
it becomes a business.
It becomes a business, right. They're not just letting these grown children live in their house rent free without you just not living there rent free.
No.
And even grandparents in the Asian culture, the grandparents are taking care of the little ones. That's their contribution to the family.
Yeah.
So, that's one thing, and I wish we could see more in Black families that, if you're living in the home and as all these adults are living in the home, that you have a plan on why are we doing this? We're doing this because we're trying to build some type of wealth, whether, again, buying another piece of property, buying a business, running a business together, something.
Yeah.
But, we haven't, unfortunately, as Black folks, we haven't really learned how to do that successfully like other cultures.
No,
so,
we have some family members that, it's like 6, 7 people living in auntie's house and the auntie is
or grandma or mama's house, right?
Getting her Social Security check and whatever little check she's getting, but and they taking advantage of her. They ain't even got no job. Some of them don't have no jobs, but they living off of her, and they still somehow they got money to get some weed, and some drink. But, the house is ran down. Yeah. They ain't even helping grandma out, Right. We got cousins like that, we got family members like that.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I'm sure everybody, in our culture, has one or two of them in their family.
Right.
And that's a damn shame that it has to be that way. That grandmother had already raised one or two generations of kids, and now she has to do it again. Right. That don't make no sense to me. That don't make sense to me. I just feel that as a parent, I've taken my time. I've raised you up until 18, 19, 20. Yeah. It's time for you to make your way. I've given you the tools to go ahead and start your life. Right. So it's time to go. I will help you.
Help. That's the word. And capital HELP.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it for you. And that was the other thing. And when I was making my comments, when I will help you.
Yes.
That's the key word, help. I'm not going to do it for you.
Nope.
And while we're working on getting that help, getting whatever you need taken care of, that doesn't mean I'm going to inconvenience myself by giving you something of mine, like we said, the car, because then how am I going to get to work, or how am I just going to get around to maybe go to the grocery store? You know, that is not my responsibility to inconvenience myself to make it convenient for you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and like I said, some folks might think that's harsh, but it's not harsh, because we're talking about adults, other adults, whether they're your children or not, they're still adults, and that's the whole reason of being the whole thing about being a parent is to teach your children to grow up and be self-sufficient.
Exactly. I mean, you have some kids that, look, they'll take their parents' car, and the parent get the car, the kid get the car, and they out tearing up the car.
Yeah.
Now, they can't take care of their car.
Right.
You know, their car be all towed up, so then they use the parents' car, and they tear up the parents' car, and now the parent can't go do what they got to do. Like we said, go to work or whatever.
Right.
And it's like...
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not that one.
Yeah. And and our kids, we love our kids dearly. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
We love them dearly. And, you know, if we got it, we will help them. But we've also learned if we don't got it, then it's like, I'm sorry, I can give you a care package. You need some food? We can give you a care package, like my mom used to do me. Angela, come on over. I don't have a whole lot. I don't have no money right now, but to give you, but you can come get some food.
You come get some of these beans I got up in here. You come get some of these beans and some of this rice.
But yeah, so. Yeah, I think it has to be a balance where you're not, as the adult parents, not inconveniencing yourself because your adult children are struggling, because we had to struggle.
Yeah.
And we figured it out. And that's the way and sometimes that's the way you learn too.
Exactly.
Struggling sometimes, that's the best form of education. Sometimes is to get out there and feel what the real world struggle is about. And I think sometimes parents are afraid to let their children struggle.
Exactly. I mean, let them get out there. They get a place and they get some roommates. They may be able to only pay, $400 for their rent. We've all had to have roommates. We started out with roommates and all that stuff. That's a normal thing.
Right.
So, but you have a lot of kids nowadays that, like we said, we can get started on. I don't want to get started on Generation Z. Get me started. The lazy.
Okay. Okay. We're not going there. We're not going to go there.
Oh, boy.
But
anyway, back to the other part that I brought up about the guilt. Like I said, a lot of women, they feel that guilt, when they're with a single mother, and they think they have to be obligated to, always have to be there for their son. Just because you make him go out on his own and do his own, that doesn't mean that you still can't be there for him.
Right.
But you can't use the fact that his father wasn't around and all of these things. You can't use that as the excuse to keep being the enabler.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right.
Because he's never going to be able to make his way in this world if you don't let him try.
Right.
I mean, you've done your best to give him all the tools.
Right.
Or her. But most of the time, like we said, it's with the sons. You did your best to give him the tools necessary for him to go out there into this world and to make it.
Right.
So let him go and try to do, make his own way.
Right.
You should not have to keep carrying him, and you shouldn't feel obligated to keep carrying this young man, all through this time.
Right.
Like I keep saying, I always keep going back to the car because, you don't need to be taking mama's car.
Right.
Now, if you're going to use it real quick to go to the store or go to AutoZone to go get a battery because your battery is dead on your car, then that's fine.
Right.
But just taking her car and driving it around and going to work with it and all this stuff, and she can't do it,
do what she needs to do,
or dad can't do it, no.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. They got to get their own. They got to work to get their own.
Right. Like I said, there's plenty of especially in the Bay Area, there's plenty of means of transportation. Mm-hmm. So that should not be an excuse that I can't, they can't get to work.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a car. There's plenty of means of transportation. So
it is. We're going to get a lot of pushback on this one. I hope we get some comments. Please do. I always say, give us some comments. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I want to hear it. Look, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people that's gonna be mad at me. We can't stand y'all channel. Y'all just be y'all some mean parents. We calling CPS on y'all.
Good luck with that.
Hey, you call CPS
one's 35 and one's 20. How old? 34? 23.
34 and 23?
Yeah. Something like that. Go ahead and call them. Good luck.
Go ahead. Come get them.
So, any final words of wisdom? Maybe I shouldn't have asked that from you.
Yeah, just don't feel guilty. Don't feel, don't feel. I know it's kind of hard to not feel bad. To be like, but that's my baby. Ninja is not a baby.
Right.
It's a grown man.
Right.
So,
and I can understand. I can't understand
or a grown woman.
I can understand how if you have some comments from people whose children are still teenagers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we look at or younger than that. Yeah, we look at them like I would do anything for my child. Blah 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 forever and ever. But this one we talk about when they're young. Look, so you have a different perspective when they're younger because you look at them because they're children. Mm-hmm. When they become, and I can speak from experience because with Tyler, mm-hmm. Tia's so self-sufficient and has been, mm-hmm. but for the longest I saw Tyler as I have to protect him. Mm-hmm. I have to.
Yes, I know.
I have to. He was a mama's boy. I have to protect him. But then I had to get out of that and realize he is a grown man. I've got to let him go. I've got to, I'm the one.
Did you feel the guilt thing?
In the very, very, very beginning, but this was mm-hmm. He was like 2 or 3. Mm-hmm.
I was around.
Yeah, you were around since he was 2. Yes, but. Yeah. For a certain period of time, yes, I did, but he was a baby. Yeah. When I say baby, I mean, he wasn't a teenager yet. Once he got into his teenage years, not so much. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel that guilt. Mm-hmm. Again, by then, because you had been around for so long, you would, from the beginning, you had taken over the responsibility of father. But yeah, in the very beginning, I felt that kind of guilt. Mm-hmm. But even as he got older, I felt like, I have to protect him, especially because, he's my black son. I have to protect him. Mm-hmm. But then I also had to come to the realization that I'm the one enabling him, and I have to feel secure that he knows what to do because you, as his father, brought him up and taught him responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I need to stop that enabling, and stop feeling like, if I don't hold on and if I don't give him everything, then he won't succeed. Mm-hmm. And he succeeded. He's doing wonderful. Yeah. So that was as a mother, mm-hmm. my issue as a mother. And like I said, Tia was always so very self-sufficient that, I never really worried about her. Yeah.
And I brought that up because, I've heard some other ladies say that. That's why I actually brought up the guilt thing.
Yeah,
You know? It ain't just something that I came up with. But no, I can't. I actually talking to some other friends of mine who had single, who was a single mother, who were single mothers and brought their sons up. That's one of the things they talked about.
Yeah, that guilt.
So,
yeah, definitely.
But, that's a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never. I don't know how that works on the father end with a daughter, because I've never really talked to. I have some friends that raised their daughters, but it's not a lot. Either the mother was still somewhere around or whatever.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance. I've never really got on that part of it with the daughters. It's just. Daddies is just usually trying to be, protective. I'm gonna get my shotgun and, make sure this fool ain't over here trying to take advantage. Because I was a little boy, I know what they be wanting. I knows what we be wanting. Well,
yeah, and I also think that we're, again, because daughters do have a tendency to move, or at least have a plan in place to move out faster than boys. That we really have I don't think the dynamics of feeling like you're enabling your daughter, because I was one. I moved out early.
Really?
I came back several times, but I moved out and I kept having a plan B, plan C.
Yeah.
So I think there is a difference in that dynamic, because girls do have a tendency to want to move out faster.
Yeah, and that's what I was, wondering that, because I know you moved out early. My sisters, they moved out early.
Tia moved out early. So.
Katrece moved out early.
Right, Jasmine.
Yep, Jasmine moved out early.
So there is a difference when it comes to that dynamic. But.
Yeah.
So like we said, y'all, we're not those parents.
We're not those parents.
We love our children dearly, do anything for them within reason.
Yep.
But we're not going to enable them, and we are not going to just let them, not be self-sufficient. So
that's right.
So, like we said, please, comment. We like to hear your comments on this.
I wants to hear it. I want to hear it.
So that's the end of this week's podcast. So
I'm sure there's going to be a part 2 to this.
Maybe,
probably so,
we'll see.
Especially depending on the comments. But I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I invite that discussion.
Oh yes, he does.
Yes.
So please like, share, and subscribe. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. And get on our email list at loveparkconnection.com so you can get information about my book, 30 Years and Counting, scheduled to come out December 9th. And then just get information about, Love Park Connection, our courses, and all that good stuff.
Yep.
All right, baby. Thank you again for joining me.
All right.
And hopefully you feel better next week.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I got shows coming up. Like, I got a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right, you guys. So thank you again so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.